So LeetCode 1685, sum of absolute differences in a sorted array. So for this problem, you're given an array of numbers, of integers, sorted, and you need to return another array where every result of I is the sum of the absolute value of the difference between your current number and all of the other numbers. Okay? Right, so let's look at an example here. So like you could just do this, like this is really similar to a list comprehension expression in Python. However, it exceeds the time limit because a solution like this would be O of n squared, where n is the amount of numbers in the array. Instead, if you can do a solution in O of n time complexity. So let's look at an example here. Let's say that we're trying to compute the value of the result array for the position 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3 for this position here. So you have to do 8 minus 6, 8 minus 4, 8 minus 1, and 10 minus 8, and sum all of those values together, and you'll get 15. But instead of doing that, you can notice that whenever we are subtracting like 8 minus 6, 8 minus 4, 8 minus 1, you're always subtracting from something from 8. So instead, you can group those 8 together and do something like 8 times 3 minus the sum of all of these numbers. And you can easily keep track of the sum of all of the numbers that are previous to you by just keeping track of the sum of all of the numbers, right? Okay, and you can basically do the same for the numbers that are bigger than you as well. So for example, let's say that you start with some variable that keeps track of the sum of all of the array, right? And then as long as you move forward, every time you move forward one step, you remove from that sum your current number, because then that number is no longer bigger than you, right? So you remove it from the sum of numbers that are bigger than you. And now what you can do, for example, let's say that we are at 4 right here. We are calculating the result for the index 1. So we can do the same what I said before for the numbers smaller than me. So in that case, we would do 4 times 1 minus the sum of all of the numbers previous than me, which is just 1. Okay, and now what about the biggest one? So the bigger ones. I'm going to keep track, since I've removed from the sum of all of the numbers 1 and 4, then now I'm left with only these numbers, which are the numbers that are bigger than me. And I want to remove from the sum of those numbers, I want to remove my number times the amount of numbers that there are. Because I'd have to do something like 10 minus 4, 8 minus 4, 6 minus 4. So I just group those 4s together. Since I have 3 comparisons that I need to do, I subtract from the sum of these numbers 4 times 3. Okay, so that gives me the result. So let's just implement that real quick. So as I said, initially we need to have the sum of all of the numbers in the array. And then also we need all of the numbers that are smaller than us. And right now, since we haven't started iterating yet, the sum of all of the bigger numbers than me is all of the numbers. And the sum of all of the numbers smaller than me is 0, because there are no numbers smaller than me since I yet have to start. And then we iterate through all of the numbers with a for loop. And obviously you need to also instantiate a result array. Now you iterate through all of the numbers in the nums array. And since we are now on the first position, you no longer have this as a number that is bigger than you. So you want to update the bigger sum. You want to remove the first position now, right? And you want to do this for any time you move forward in the array. You want to remove from the variable bigger sum the current number, okay? So we take the number in the current position and we remove it from the sum of all of the numbers that are bigger than us, because it's no longer bigger than us, right? Okay, now what is the difference of our number with all of the numbers that are smaller than us? Well, it would be, for example, let's say that we were here, it would be 8 minus 6, 8 minus 4, 8 minus 1. So we have 8 3 times, so just I times, right? And then we have the sum of all of the elements that are smaller than us. Okay, and now you also need the difference with all of the numbers that are bigger than us, so diff big, which is just the sum of all of the numbers that are bigger than us. Let's say that we're calculating for 4. We'd have to do 10 minus 4, 8 minus 4, and 6 minus 4. So we just sum all of these together, which is the bigger sum, and then we subtract from that 4 times the amount of comparisons that we make, which is just 3, like the amount of numbers that are bigger than us. And that's just nums.length minus 1 minus I. Okay, so now you have the difference with all of the numbers that are smaller than us, and the difference with all of the numbers that are bigger than us. So now you can just add to the result the actual value of the result, which is the summation. You just add together the difference with all of the smaller numbers and the difference with all of the bigger numbers, and you get the difference with all of the other values in the array. So that's it. You just need now to, don't forget to also update the smaller sum, because like here we were updating the bigger sum, but you also need to remember to update the smaller sum. So now, since we are moving forward in the array, like soon we're going to be doing I++, you need to add to the smaller sum the current number, because the current number will very soon become smaller than your new number, since the array is sorted and you're moving forward in the array, right? So this number is going to be smaller than your next number, so you want to update the smaller sum, and you want to add to the smaller sum the current number. So that's it. I'll submit the solution to show you that it works. And the time complexity here is O of n, because you just go through every element in the array once, or like twice if you consider this setup as well. And the space complexity is O of n if you consider the result, but honestly it's basically O of 1 extra space. So that's it for me today. Thank you for watching, and bye.